to another interesting episode of Labor Lens, where we bring to you updates information in the world of work and pay. I am Sharon Ijason. On this week's episode of the program, we will be discussing about the 40th anniversary of Pengazan. But first, let's take the news. We will be right back. With the increase of road accidents in the nation, which oftentimes involves petroleum tankers, the PTD branch of NUPENG held a national safety training for tanker drivers on steering. The drivers were lectured on road signs and the need to obey them. They were also admonished to be law-abiding by staying away from hard drugs and alcohol.
There's a kind of cargo that if you carry it and if there's any crash, then you go there to go and carry it again. You look for a crane or whatever, or forklift to carry it again and you go. But in the area of petroleum product, reverse is the case. You know, the petroleum product is a highly inflammable product and anything can happen if there's any crashes.
The national president of NUPENG urged relevant authorities to ensure that major access roads are motorable.
Coming to think about tanker driving, which actually involve, flammable products, I think it's very necessary that this kind of training, is put in place. It's my belief that after this training, we have not just safer roads, but also drivers that also know their onions and have to drive by, because their roles on the road is not only for them. It's not just to save themselves, but also save other road users. So it's about lives generally.
In an interview with the organizing secretary of the training, he announced that 60 tanker drivers have been blacklisted from the union due to criminal activities.
They were being blacklisted for many offenses, ranging from finalization, rice and beans, that is adulteration of products, and also the attitude of selling another person's products and set ablaze the tankers they are driving in order to avert justice. So these are the kind of malpractices ranging from one to the other. That this kind of bad elements, we don't want them in our system. They can pollute the genuine and very decent drivers.
The petroleum tanker drivers branch of NUPENG at the training says they are always ready to work with the Federal Road Safety Corps to ensure an accident-free road.
While some staff of the National Health Insurance Scheme resumed their duties inside the NHI's building, various unions continued their protest against the Executive Secretary, Usman Yusuf, outside the gates of the Commission. The unions have embarked on this protest for the past 4 days, and they insist that they will not stand down until the embattled NHI's boss leaves his office and paves the way for investigations into allegations of misappropriation.
We therefore make bold to place this request that let this investigative panel, let them finish their work. Yes. If at the end of the exercise, if Professor Yusuf Usman was not found culpable, after all, he has been restated once, he can still be restated again. But he who must come to equity must come with one clean hands.
I am not afraid to say that Yusuf has the backing of the government. If the government claims that they don't know about the actions of Yusuf, let them come out and tell Yusuf to leave NHIS. If you don't have anything to hide, why are you afraid to leave your office? Why are you afraid to leave your office for investigation? To suspend somebody is not to sack you. They have asked you to step aside so that they can investigate you.
Meanwhile, the Association of the Senior Civil Servants of Nigeria has called on President Muhammad Buhari to relieve Professor Yusuf of his appointment to avoid sending the wrong signal to the outside world as regards the anti-corruption war of the administration. According to the labor leaders, Professor Yusuf was suspended last week by the Governing Council of the scheme for alleged financial scams, including cutting away of office equipment of the NHIS to his residents, padding of the budget of the scheme, an attempt to illegally invest 30 billion naira in federal government's bonds, and placing his relatives in strategic offices for purposes of siphoning funds through dubious contract awards. Other infractions are alleged inflation of biometric capturing machines, punitive posting out of union officials from the NHI's headquarters to create fertile grounds for his financial malpractices, insubordination and contempt for the Minister of Health and members of the Governing Council of the scheme.
This man, Professor Usman Yusuf, is not a character that can work with human beings. I don't know, he's very corrupt, and he believes in this primordial sentiments. At any given opportunity, he whips ethnic sentiment. At every given opportunity, he whips religious sentiment. And all these things are being done to just cover his tracks. As far as we are concerned, Yusuf is gone, and government should sack him in the interest of industrial peace, in the NHIS in particular, and in the public service in general.
Solidarity forever, for the union makes us strong.
The Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasan, held its 40th anniversary in Abuja with the theme Dynamic Labor Leadership, Fueling the Economy. The event was well attended by oil and gas executives and celebrated the union's achievement, which can be seen in the passage of the Local Content Bill, restoring of normalcy to the downstream sector, the new joint venture cash call framework, and the work that has been done on the Petroleum Industry Bill. President Muhammadu Buhari was represented by the Minister of State for Petroleum, Ibe Kachuku, who commended Pengasan for its understanding when the pump price of fuel was increased and for the current easy distribution of fuel across the country.
As the pioneer labor union in the Nigerian oil and gas industry, Pengasan has played a historical role as a stabilizing force required to promote national development, particularly in this industry. We are grateful for the synergy and cohesion between the management of the NMPC and the association in working together on many occasions to achieve great goals and strides. Pengasan has shown exceptional character in the undertakings of members of staff in this industry. We acknowledge your resilience and support that enabled the restoration of normalcy to the downstream sector in 2016. We also acknowledge your solidarity and cooperation in achieving the giant stride of emplacing the new joint venture cash call framework. And indeed your sacrifice in many other ways, including the NMPC reforms. We commend the association for leading advocacy for local content and indigenous participation in the nation's hydrocarbon business, as well as regulation of contract and casual employment, amongst others.
Going forward, I would love to see a Pengasan that will continue to show more interest, engage, and further collaborate with management by providing us with brilliant ideas that will guarantee the profitability and sustainability of our business and operations. This is because once the business is sustained, everything, including, of course, staff welfare, will automatically fall in place. This we have displayed and we sustain.
Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, delivered a paper on how dynamic labor leadership fuels the economy. He said government was losing more than $104 billion for refusing to implement the Deep Offshore and Inland Basin Production Sharing Contract Act.
Pengasan and NUPEN, Nigerian Labour Congress, you must assist that we must go to the root of this criminality at the international level so that we can recover money and put the money in the federation account so that our people can enjoy the benefits of the oil and gas industry. Section 5 of the Offshore and Inland Sharing Contract Act provides that for 15 years, no royalty shall be recovered, can be collected
from oil and gas mined from below 1,000 meters depth. At that time, the purpose was because of the level of technology, which was not highly developed. So let us allow these oil companies, oil majors, to mine without paying royalty. That law expired in 2014. Again, I have begged the government in vain to now collect all our royalties since 2014 to the moment. Not a dime has been collected. Pengassin, you have your job cut out for you.
3 Nigerians were given awards for acts of bravery. Abdullahi Abubakar saved about 300 Christians from being killed in Plateau State. Late Joseph Blackson's widow collected her husband's award. He died after saving 13 people from drowning in a creek in Rivers State. The proprietor of Jones Secondary School in Nasarawa State offered scholarships to indigent indigenes of the host community. With the trend of contract employment and casual labor in the oil and gas sector continuing, the keynote speaker urged workers not to leave the fight against corruption only to the government.
Every generation has its own challenges. When I was the president, we had a series of challenges. But now this generation also has its own challenges, but it also has a reservoir of solutions, which is digital age, easy access to information, easy access for you to build coalition, easy access for you to mobilize, and easy access for you to access resource so that you are able to confront whatever challenges that will come. And the challenges that are going to come looking forward is going to be more from the government angle.
We are in a challenging society to start with. It's not easy in the country. Nobody will tell you in the country that yes, so it's having it good. Even if you're having good relations and those around it are also having it too good. So the challenge we're having is to try to see what we can do to improve the welfare and condition of service of not only our members, but the society at large.
The oil and gas sector accounts for over 65% of Nigerians' GDP. And what that tells us easily is that it is the lifeline, the life wire of the Nigerian economy. And therefore you need a strong trade union, to act as that third force, to act as that voice of reason, to whip things into line. We played that role.
We've been collaborating with the oil and gas industry as a responsible corporate organization, an association of senior and middle management staff of oil and gas industry. We've adopted the continuous engagement strategy, where we open our minds to discussions, not just to shut the industry, but create opportunities where we can discuss the issues on the table, iron out our differences, and still move on.